In past Momaha Mondays, we've talked about meaningful but lighter parenting topics.
Today, we're continuing a more serious conversation that was started online. The column out earlier this month was called "Nebraska Mom Saw Her Opiate-Addicted Son Slip Away a Little More Each Day."
Leslie Vera wrote that piece. Also with us, Momaha.com editor Ashley Coffey. Good to see both of you this morning.
Nice to meet you, and welcome back.
So Leslie, let's get to you. You wrote this piece, and it kind of took off once it went online. And how did you know your son was addicted?
That is the tough part. I just, in my gut, as a parent, I knew something wasn't right. And we made a lot of trips to his pediatrician to have random drug tests. I drug tested him at home. I just really listened to my inner voice and went with it.
How did you help him once you understood the significance of the problem?
And what age were we talking about here?
He was about 16 when I figured out that I was right.
Wow.
And he wasn't being honest with me.
And then what'd you do?
From there, we started just really monitoring where he went, who he was with. I tried to reel him in as much as I could, which is hard with a 16-year-old. And then we worked on just finding resources for him, trying to find and we failed a lot before we finally found something that worked. But we finally found treatment, and I think he went through twice, actually. So we found something to help him be successful.
What was he addicted to?
Pills, basically, is what it is. Oxycontin, and just high school kids, they will take and try anything, is what I've found out, that they can get their hands on. And a lot of it is very, very addicting.
And very dangerous. So how is he doing in his early 20s now? How is he?
He took the long road, made things harder than they needed to be, but he is finally turning the corner. He's not quite perfect yet, but he's turned the corner, and I think has his eye on the finish line.
And you are here today because you wrote a piece for Momaha, the blog, and you wrote this piece. It went online, you posted it, and it took off. Actually, it was one of the most read pieces on your blog to date, right?
I think so. Yeah, she kind of came to me with the idea, and I read it, and I knew how powerful it was, because we do a lot of younger parenting topics, and I kind of want to shift the change, not just that, but to have it be, teenagers. And so when I saw this, I thought, I bet a lot of parents would probably be able to relate to it, and I worked with her on it, and then it really took off.
You weren't surprised then to see the number of people not just reading it, but commenting about it?
Not really. I was really happy, though, to see that, because it's such a big thing.
It's not often talked about as well.
No, and that's the thing, though. And you see a lot of the comments, and these parents are saying, I'm so happy that you wrote this, because I feel like now I can maybe do that, too. Maybe I can talk about it.
Leslie, were you surprised at the response? Because there were a lot of comments on there. A lot positive, but you had some negative comments as well. Are you surprised at the reaction?
I gave her the article and totally put it out of my mind. Forgot almost that I had done it, and she messaged me and was like, "Oh my gosh, your blog is doing amazing."
Wow.
And I was like, "What?" I forgot all about it. But so then I got on and I looked, and I was really happy to see how many parents could relate to it. And I had several parents emailing and texting me, asking for information, and just thanking me for writing it, because they also felt so alone in what they were going through.
I'd like to talk about your personality type. You wrote that you're
I'm a feeler.
You're a feeler. You're heart over head, and that affected this process and the way you handled your son's addiction. And I saw some other parents who related to that very strongly. They said, I'm exactly the same way. I don't know what to do. So what do you say to other parents who are similar in that way?
If you are a feeler, this is a true nightmare, because our hearts want to believe them when they tell us, "Mom, you're crazy, I'm not doing anything." You have to really buckle down. And if you have somebody, a husband or a significant other, to balance you who is not a feeler, I was lucky that I had that. And so my husband would give me advice, and in my head I was like, how could you suggest that? You want me to kick him out, you want me to watch him, fail, but really it was the best advice, but my heart just would have never came up with it on its own.
There was some tough love involved, is basically what you're saying.
There was.
And you needed some help to get down to that path.
I needed a lot of help to get there.
You said there was one point you were sitting in a support group setting, and you basically said, I've done everything right as a parent, so how could this happen?
That was the hardest part for me. When I finally figured out there was a true problem, it was so awful for me because I kept thinking, you know, I have done this. I am home. I work at their school. I know their friends. I read their text messages. I've done everything I could do to not let this happen. And so it was very powerful for me when I did go to counseling with him, and the therapist was like, addiction doesn't care. It doesn't care how hard you try. It doesn't care if you sleep. It doesn't care what kind of neighborhood you live in. It doesn't care.
Well, you can read the piece at momaha.com. It's Momaha is basically a community for parents to get together and discuss these type of issues.
And if you have a story you'd like to share, Ashley would like to hear it, just as Leslie put it all down and took it to Momaha and said, this is my story. I'm willing to be open about it and share it. You're welcome to do the same. Just email momaha@owh.com. Thank you for being here. And our best to your family.
Thanks for sharing your story.
You did great. Thank
Very
you.
brave. Thanks
good
a lot.
to see you,
Ashley, good to see you.
Ever find yourself wanting to watch the Morning Blend? There's no TV around? No worries. Pick up your smartphone or tablet and click Watch Live at omahamorningblend.com.
Okay, so we just went on a family vacation, a little road trip. And planning a successful summer road trip, it can be tedious. It can involve some fast food as well. You know, some unhealthy options.
Drive-throughs,
That's
I
right,
bet.
we did.
Next, travel pro Kim Orlando with a few ideas to save stress and stick with healthy meals.